sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let's pay respect to our teacher. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Today, we are going to learn a beautiful sutta called Gaṇakamoggallānasutta. It is in the middle and discourse, the Majjhima Nikaya. Sutta is very simple. As our guideline goes, about it is shown the greatness of the practice in this sutta. And the person who can understand and achieve the Dhamma, the quality of that person also shown in this sutta. Sutta goes in this way. Evam me suttam, thus I have heard. Ekam samayam bhagava savatiyam viharati ubbarame migar matu pasnade. It says, thus I have heard on one occasion, the Supreme Buddha was dwelling in Savatthi in the Vishaka's Migara Mata's prasada called Purvaram. Okay. Atakho Gaṇakamoggallānu Brahmanu Yena Bhagava Tenupa Sankami. In that time, this Gaṇakamoggallāna, the master of the accounting, the teacher of accounting, Brahmin, came to the Supreme Buddha. Upasankamitva Bhagavantang Satik Sammodi. And coming to the Supreme Buddha, he had the cordial talk with the Supreme Buddha. Bhante, how are you? And how is your day? In such a way. Sammodaniyam katham saraniyam diti saretva ekamantam nisidi. Having such a talk and just beginning of conversation he had, after that he sat down at one side. It shows us when this sutta was happened, when this thing happened, he was not disciple of Supreme Buddha. Because it shows in many suttas we see that whenever someone comes to visit, even the other people who are not disciple of Buddha, but they have respect for him, they always go and bow down to the Supreme Buddha. They worship. But here it clearly says that this person was not a disciple of Buddha, nor did he know about Dhamma in much way, but he wanted to have a conversation. Sometimes we go to some places and just, let me see how it is, so check it out, something. So he also came to Supreme Buddha in that way. He wasn't a disciple. And that's why it says, Sadding Sammoding, just had a casual talk. Means he was thinking the Master Gautama is also similar to me, because the Gautama is also teacher, and this Gaṇakamoggallāna Brahmin also a teacher. So he was thinking that we are both in equal way. So what did he say? He's sitting down in one side. He asked, he said to the Supreme Buddha in this way, Seyathapi Bhogotama Imas Migara Matu Pasadas Dissati. Bhante, it can be seen here Anupubba Sikha, in this building, the gradual development, the gradual training, gradual practice, gradual progress. Means Anupubba Sikha, Anupubba Kiriya, Anupubba Patipada. These three things can be seen in this building. Yava Pachima Sopana Kalayura. Even in these stairs also, you can see in the stairs also, I mean, from the beginning of this building, in the last corner of these stairs, you will see that there is a development, the progress, the well-management you can see in there. Then he goes further and he says, Ime sampi go Gotama, Brahmananam dissanti anupubba sikha, anupubba kiriya, anupubba patipada. Even in these Brahmins, the Brahmins had how the name arrived in the society, it shows in there. Even in their life also, you can see that there is a gradual practice, progress and training. You can see in their life regarding what? Regarding their study, So he asked further, even in archers who is doing the archery, that even their training also, you can see the development, the training, the development and progress is there regarding their archery. Then he said to Supreme Buddha, Ammakam hi Gotamo, even in our profession, Gaṇakamoggallānasutta Jivanam dissanti. In our profession, like we are the counters, we count, like today's CA, So in our way, that we see this development. Anupubba Sikha, the training, Anupubba Kiriya, the practice, Anupubba Patipada, the progress you can see. Yadidang Sankhani, regarding counting, regarding measuring this. So, Mayayibo Gotama, Antevasing Labitva, Pathamang, Evan, Ganapema. So, when I get any disciple, any pupil in me who comes to learn the study, so he is explaining his experience. How does he train to this pupil? What he said? Ekang, ekakang, 1 1 1. De veduka, 2 ones are 2. So 1 by 1 is 1. 2 multiplied by 1 is 2. So it mentioned in the 1 by 1 in here, said 1, 2, 3, 4. So how that we count the 1? 1 is not always singular one, It is multiplied by 1, or 2 is multiplied by 2. So equal to become 2. So like 2 to the 2, 2 to the 4, 2 to the 2 3 the 6, that we count in the same way the first counting he mentioned here. So then he says, we count that until it becomes 100. So 1 by 1, we teach them how to begin counting. As you see, even in our class also, when we are very young in kindergarten, that we have a different kind of sled, that it has a small rings into the one string, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, like a field with that. And whenever we teach the kids, that we ask, count it from this direction to here, it is called 1. Then there is a 2, so it's called 2. So in that way, he said, we teach our people in this way. So after that, he mentioned, is this same thing in the Supreme Buddhas? Sakkanubho Gotamo imasampi dhamma vinaye evameva anupubba sikha anupubba kiriya anupubba patipada panyapetunti. Is that the same thing can we see in this Dhamma, in the discipline of Supreme Buddha, such as Anupubba Sikha, the training, gradual training, Anupubba Kiriya, the practice, Anupubba Patipada, the progress in that. Can we see that? Can you mention such a thing in your disciple, in this Dhamma? So what he's doing now, at first he mentioned this is everywhere you can find the gradual training, even in the builders who build the place, even in the Brahmins who study, even the archers, they have these things. And as we are the who count the money or who keep the accountings, such a people have the same thing. Then now he's comparing. Is the master Gautama's teaching also have the same thing? Or just he says, okay, do whatever you want. So Supreme Buddha mentioned to him, Sakka Brahman, yes, Brahman. There is, we can mention it. Imasmimpi Dhamma Vini. In this discipline of Supreme Buddha, in this Dhamma, you can find Anubhubba Sikha, Anubhubba Kirya, Anubhubba Patipada. You can find this gradual training, gradual practice, and gradual progress. We can say, Seyata people, Brahman. So now Supreme Buddha is mentioning in this way, Dakho Assa Dhammako, the great teacher of horses, the trainer of horses, Bhaddam, the best quality of Assa Janiyang Labhitva, the best quality of horse he get. In that time, Pathame Neva Mukhadhane Karanam Karoti. What he does to this great horse? First, he put the bit. Yeah, it's a bit. So, first he gave that a bit, because in when the horse is very young, what did they do? They just travel here, they're running here and there. So they do not have that. So for making them to be aware of, to control them, the first we know how the horse riders, they control their horses by pulling the bit, in that. So first thing they teach, they put in their mouth is a bit. Then later on, the gradual training begins with that. Same thing, Supreme Buddha, Eva Meva Po Brahman. In that same way, Brahmin, Tathagato, Purisa Dhammang Labhitva. What the Buddha says, Tathagato, the Supreme Buddha, Purisa Dhamma, the person who is able to be tamed, the Purisa Dhammang Labhitva, Pathamang Evang Viniti. So the person who has the quality to be tamed, the person who is really want to understand, the person who is going to be training in this Dhamma Vinaya, such a person when the Supreme Buddha gets, what does he do? In this way, he teaches him what? Ehitvang bhikkhu, bhikkhu, come here. Silava hohi, become virtuous. Practice the virtue. Patimokha, Sangvara Sangvutto Viharahi. Be practice, train yourself to be practiced in the Pratimoksha. Restrain yourself by Pratimoksha. Achara Gochara Sampanno. So your all the conducts, whatever you are doing, everything, your words, your behavior, and everything should be according or restraining according to the Pratimoksha. Anumattesu vajjesu bhayadasavi. And seeing a fear in slightest fault. Anumattesu is bit in the smallest part of it. Vajjesu, all the faults. Bhayadasavi, seeing the fear in that. So whatever you do, even slightest wrong, you should be frightened for that. So Supreme Buddha teaches in that way to become virtuous. Samadaya sikkhasu sikkha padesu, trained by undertaking the training precepts. So Supreme Buddha mentioned. So as first someone come to the Buddha, what he does? First he teach him how to be virtuous. That is the first thing. Because as we see, when we are growing in the society, we are developing, we do not have any training about virtue. We are unable to understand that. In the same thing is going even today also. You go to the any monastery where someone is there to understand the Dhamma. What happened? The teacher teaching him that, okay, as until now you were observing, if he is not a Buddhist, Then they do not mention about 5%. Just they give him the 5% at first, and they find out a couple of days how this practice is going on. Then, if the person is coming for the monkhood, then they say, we cannot provide the monkhood at immediately. Practice first what are the 8 precepts. So, Ajivattamaka Sila, then the trained precepts, and then they ordain him as a novice monk. And then it goes further. So, in the same way, the teaching practices, making them virtuous, also gradual, slowly develop. So the Buddha says that I also teach the same thing as others, other teachers of the other faculties, they are teaching same thing. I first train them how to be virtuous, practice Dhamma. Then the Buddha says, Yatokho Brahmana Bhikkhu Silava Hoti. When the Brahmin, this Bhikkhu becomes virtuous. Tamenang Tathagato Uttaring Vineti. After this Bhikkhu became virtuous, then Supreme Buddha teaches him further teaching. Ehi Tvang Bhikkhu, Bhikkhu, come here. Indriyesu Buttadvaro Hohi. What the Buddha teaches them? Guard the doors of your sense faculties. So what are the sense faculties? There are 6 sense faculties. Eyes, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. So 6 faculties. So what the Buddha explains? Indriyesu Guttadvaro Hohi. Guard your sense faculties. Chakkuna Rupang Disva Ma Nimitta Gahi Hoti. Manu Byanjanam Gahi. What the Buddha says? On seeing a form with the eye, do not grasp at its sign and features. So what the Buddha mentioned? At first, he asked him to become a virtuous. And second thing, he says that be mindful or guard your sense faculties, like guarding your eye. Do not let the features or anything in your mind. Yatvadikarana menam chakku indriyam asangutang viharantang abhijja domanasa papaka kusala dhamma anvasave tasta sangvaraya patipanjahi. So Buddha says, since you were to leave the eye faculty unguarded, evil, unwholesome state of covetousness and grief might invade you. So when you restrain your eye, then it does not come in that way. So be mindful of or be on guard to do not let any vision come or any unwholesome vision in your mind. Then Supreme Buddha goes in further way. So tena saddam sutva. When you are hearing something, in that time, be mindful, be on guard, not let any words hurt you or come inside you. Gaṇakamoggallānasutta. Even when you are smelling something, jivvāya rasam saitva. When you are tasting any food, kāyana pottabhaṃ kusitva. When the touch, the tangible things is happening to you. Manasa dhammam viññāyam. While you are thinking in your mind, ma nimitta gahi hohi, manu byanjana gahi. So, train yourself that you will not grasp at its signs and features. So Buddha says, everything what you are doing, do not grasp it from it. So 6 faculties, you should be controlling. You should be on guard. Okay. So for what reason? So if you keep them without any, if you do not pay attention on them, it is very easy. So you will observe this all unwholesome thoughts and deeds in your life. And that is very harmful for the practitioner. So Supreme Buddha teach him how to guard their 6 faculties. Then Supreme Buddha says, Yatoko Brahmana Bhikkhu Indriyesu Buttadvaro Hoti. When Brahmin, the Bhikkhu, guards the doors of his sense faculties, Tamena Tathagato Uttaring Vineti. Then the Tathagata disciplines him further. So see, what the Buddha did, he first asked him to be a virtuous person. Then second one, then he asked him to be mindful or guard on your sense faculties. Then Supreme Buddha teaches him that Ehitvang bhikkhu bhojane mattanyu hohi. Bhikkhu, be moderate in eating, reflecting wisely. So when you are eating the food, be mindful of that what is the purpose of this food. Nevadavaya, namadaya, namandanaya, vibhusanaya. This food is neither for the amusement, nor for intoxication, nor for the sake of physical beauty and attractiveness, but only for yavadevi masakaya satitya, endurance, vihinsu paratya, brahmacharya nukahaya, to continue to practice the holy life. Iti puranam cha vedanam patiham kami, for ending discomfort. Navan cha vedanam na upadesami. This new feelings or discomfort should not be arising, and your holy life should be go without interruption, assisting in the holy life, considering Supreme Buddha mentioned. So this bhikkhu, he asked him to become a mindful of your food. So Supreme Buddha said, first thing he mentioned about precepts, then he asked to be mindful of their faculties, sense faculties, and now he asked about how the person is eating food, in what purpose. So later on that Buddha explained in there, Yatoko Brahmana Bhikkhu Bhojane Mattanyu Hoti. When Brahmin, the bhikkhu has become mindful or moderate eating, he controls his eating in that way. Tamena Tathagata Uttaring Vineti. So see, what the sutta was began with the gradual training, and how the Buddha is teaching, one by one, the progress you will see. Like if anyone come to the Dhamma, what the first thing is to be practicing the virtue. Why is that? Because you will see that slowly Buddha is teaching him how to concentrate on the smaller thing, how to be aware of the smallest of it. So the virtue, the precepts, what they do, they restrain you from doing something bad. Second thing, if you unguard your means, if you are not on your guard, then every time you hear something, every time you listen something, every time you see something, all the impurities come in your mind, and then it becomes unable to practice the virtue. If you do not guard your ears, then what happens? If you hear someone is saying some bad words to you, automatically the anger arises in you. If you see something which is not suitable, then what happened? The desire for such a things arise in you. So that's why this guarding, one by one, is happening there. And then Supreme Buddha explained, Bhojano Mattanyu. So be mindful of how much you're eating and how you're eating, the purpose of this food. So being that, so that is the next one. Then Supreme Buddha explained, when the bhikkhu become moderate of his food, then he says, Ehitvang bhikkhu jagariyang anuyutto viharahi. Then practice and devote to wakefulness. Supreme Buddha explained, be mindful of being awake. Awake, it means not being that every moment, it's not sleeping at all. Awake, it means being mindful of that you are there and that present moment, like, like we say sometimes that we just left, that even we in a conversation, we remember something, and that we go beyond our thoughts, and that time we are not there what is happening. Like we go somewhere else, go outside of this conversation, something like that. So being awake, it means being there in every moment. Like today, now we are discussing, we are talking. Sometimes the word can drag you towards someplace else. You will remember the different suttas. As for the split of second, you won't be there. Something like that. So being awake, it means being present in the particular moment. What the Buddha explained? Divasam chakkamena nisaja. So how to be mindful, how to be present in every moment, how to begin that. So the Buddha is mentioning here how to develop the awareness or the practicing the present moment in life. What the Buddha says? Divasam chakkamena nisajaya. It means at the day, the person, you should practice the walking meditation. Avarniye dhamme chittam parisodehi. Purify your mind of obstructive status. So when you are doing the walking meditation, what should you do? You should purify your mind from the obstacles. Like when you are walking, it is natural. The thought will come to your mind. So guarding that, purifying that I am practicing meditation, I am practicing the walking. So it should not be interrupted by any thoughts. Or if it is a good thought, then nurturing it. If it is bad thought, getting rid of it. You know the padhana, the 4 padhanas are there, practicing the unwholesome and wholesome things, to get rid of it. Something like that, it is there. The parisodeti, it means washing away. This all. Then Ratya Patamang Yama, when the night begins, in the first part of night, Chankamene Nisajaya Avarniye Dhamme Chittam Parisodeti. You do the same thing when the night is beginning. Ratya Majjimang Yama, when the night is in the middle state, the second period of the night, what you should do? Dakhinena Passena Siyaseyang Kappeyasi. So you should be sleeping as the lion sleeps, keeping one foot on another and developing the entire mindfulness. Achadhaya sato sampajanu, developing the complete mindfulness, being aware of your entire body. You may have seen how the lion sleeps. It means he sleeps in a posture that even if he opens his mind and single side, he can see his entire body is there. From his entire body he can see. In the same way, the Siha Sanya is also that. You keep your both feet one on one with a slight difference, and you bend you curve your entire body a little bit, very slight. So you can see the entire body is there in one side. And what? Utthana Sanyang Manasakaritva. It means ordering you or being mindful that I want to be awake at this particular moment. We do practice some time like this, like before this alarm clocks or the alarm in a mobile or everything. How did people wake up? They just give the instruction to their mind. And sometimes you may have noticed, if you have any particular thing in that day, even you may have put the alarm, you wake up before the alarm and then you close down that, okay, I am wake up now, I do not need it. Something like that. Utthana Sanya, it means something that reminding you or minding you're becoming present that I want to wake up in this moment. Ratya Pachimang Yamam Pachuttaya Chankamene Nisajjaya Avarniye Dhamme Chittam Parisudhiti. Then the night is finished. In the last part of the night, you wake up and again you begin your day with practicing walking meditation. So the Supreme Buddha explained how to be mindful. So begin with the walking meditation and then sleeping in the particular posture and then begin your day. So this continued process is there. Yatoko Brahmana Bhikkhu Jagariyam Anuyukto Hoti. When the Brahmin, the Bhikkhu is devoted to wakefulness, then Tathagat, Tamena Tathagato Uttaringiniti, then the Supreme Buddha discipline him or teaches him further. Ehitang Bhikkhu Satisampajjena Samannagato Hoti. Bhikkhu, be mindful the process of mindfulness and fully awareness. Supreme Buddha teaches him how to be mindful. Then, ehitvam bhikkhu sati sampajannena samannagato hoti. Bhikkhu, become the mindful, be aware of all the moments. In how? Supreme Buddha says, abhikante patikante sampajanakari. What he says, being aware, going forward and returning. Be mindful, become aware of your entire body. Alokite vilokite sampajanakari. When you are looking here and there, in that moment, be mindful, be aware of the particular thing. Samminjite pasarite sampajanakari. When you move your body, when you fold your body, or you put your arms a little further, or whatever movement of your physical form is there, be mindful of that. Sangati patta chivara dharane sampajanakari. When you are taking your robes, when you're holding your bow, on that moment, become aware of it. So the Supreme Buddha says, be aware, possess the awareness in you. And then he mentioned what kind of awareness should be there. So first he expressed about this bodily form, everything this body is doing. So when you are going there, here and there, means even when you are learning the walking meditation, be mindful of that. When you are going there further and coming back, be mindful. Then when your eyes are open, so when you are looking front or here and there, be mindful. Then your bodily movement, when your both feet are coming together, your hands are moving, this movement of your body, be mindful of that. Then when you are wearing the robe, when you are holding your bow, the arm for arms down, on that time, be mindful of that. Then Supreme Buddha explained how to develop this awareness. Asite, pite, khaite, saite. When you are drinking, when you are eating, become aware of it. Uchchara pasavakamte sampajanakari. Even when you go to the washroom, when you are doing your daily duties, even in that time also, become mindful. It means that Supreme Buddha explained, Gate, Chite, Nisinne, Sutte, Jagrate, Bhasite, Tunni Bhave, Sampajanakari. Supreme Buddha explained how you should become mindful, what kind of the awareness you should possess. This in every moment, when you are going, when you are standing, when you are sitting, when you are awake, when you are talking to someone, even when you are silent, in that moment, be aware, be mindful. It means Supreme Buddha explains in this, not a single moment of your day should go without awareness. Such a way Supreme Buddha teaches. See how the Supreme Buddha is progressing the Dhamma? First, he restrained that. Okay, these are the precepts. Be mindful of that. When the person is become aware of the precepts, then he teach him, okay, guard your sense faculties. Then he teaches, be mindful of your food. Then Supreme Buddha explains, okay, be mindful, be aware of your postures, how you are walking, means practice your day, develop the awareness of your life. Then he expressed, possess the awareness, the strength of that in each and every moment you should do. Then Supreme Buddha explained, Yatoko Brahmana Bhikkhu Sati Sampajannena Samannagato Hoti. When the disciple is possessed the awareness or mindfulness of awareness, that time Supreme Buddha teaches him further. What does Supreme Buddha teach? Ehitvang Bhikkhu Vivittang Senasanang Bhajahi Aranyang Rukhamulang Pabbatang Kandarang Giri Guhang Susanang Vanapattam Abhokasang Palala Punyanti. So the Supreme Buddha teaches him in further way what? To dwell in the different state in the life. means he expressing in every way, vivattam, open dwelling, means not the four boundaries should be covered in you. Everything open. It means why in the first stages Supreme Buddha teaches in that way. When you are covered in some places, that time it is automatically becomes that you are unable to control yourself. But when you are in open place, you behave much better. Like every time if there is mention you are under the observers of CCTV cameras, then what you do? You become mindful. Okay, do not behave in different way that people will look at you. When you are in public place, you do something better. But if when you are no one is there, you act crazy. That thing happens. So Supreme Buddha is teaching in the same way. What he says, vivittang senasana, open dwelling. You should stay in the open dwelling. So Supreme Buddha explained, aranya, the forest, Rukkhamoolan, the roots of the trees, Pabbata, in the mountains, Kandaram, it means, like when you go to the narrow places in the between the mountains, in such a way, Kandaram. Giriguham, in the mountains, there are the caves. There, Susanam, in the cemeteries, Vanapattam, in where the forest, in the tree where the usual forests are there. In that means it's not the deep forest, but the outside of it, in closeness to the forest. Abhokhasan, in the open ground where the sky is above your head. Palala Punja, heap of stews, means the straws are there, small strings, and that you just make the shelter from it. That's all. There is no walls, but just to cover your head, that much of strength. So Palala Punja. So vivittang senasanam bhajati. So the Supreme Buddha explained, this teacher teaches him that this kind of senasana, the dwelling, you should be praised, and he teaches how to live there. And what you should do in that way. So pachabhattam, after you're eating, pindapata patikkanto, after you having your food, when you're coming back from the alms round, nisidati pallanka, you sit down and fold your legs. Abhujitva, being aware of your body. Ujungkayang panidaya, making straight of your bodily posture, Parimukhang sating upattapetva, bringing all the concentration in front of you, being mindful about your posture, everything. Like we do when we are doing the breathing meditation, in the same way you do that. Okay. Then, so abhijjang loke pahaya vigata abhijjena chetaso viharati. What the Supreme Buddha explains, abandoning covetousness of the world, he abides with a mind free from covetousness. Then, slowly, the Supreme Buddha explained, he purifies his mind from the covetousness. Abandoning ill will and hatred, he abides with the mind free from ill will. Compassionate for the welfare of all living beings, he purifies his mind from ill will and hatred, abandoning sloth and torpor. He abides free from sloth and torpor. So the Supreme Buddha explained one by one what he does. First, after finishing his food, he come back and sit down for meditation. And what he does in that meditation, so whatever the thoughts are in there in that moment, like if you having the thoughts of, that what you have seen in the village, so desire when it has arrived in you, that you get rid of them. When you have a hatred, means, when you go to the Pindapata, arms round, sometimes people speak the good words, sometimes they use the harsh word also. You may have not noticed that, But sometimes people do that thing, like just throw them away. Okay, go further, we cannot give you anything. Or sometimes some people use the bad words also. It happens very rarely. The people have more respect, but it does happen. And that time you feel a little bit hatred in you. So when you come back from there, you should being mindful, developing compassion toward all the beings, develop the ill will, hatred, these all things you get rid of. Then tina middam, if you have much food, then you feel the sleepiness, so you get rid of that, you try to get rid of that. Then how you get rid of that? Being aloka sanyi sato sampajjano, developing the consciousness of light, the being aware of there is a light. When you are feeling sleepy and you mention that there is a light in you, then you becomes aware. For most of the people, sleeping in the light, it becomes very difficult. That's why we close our we switch off our lights, and it becomes very easy for us to sleep. But when the light is there on, it is become unable. So we close our eyes, and that will, when for some people they put the glasses, not glasses, what we call the eye patch and something, to sleep, to avoid that. So the Supreme Buddha explained, for this monk who is dwelling in the out forest, what he should do when he feels sleepy, drowsy, in that time he should develop the mindfulness of light. He practice that. So by practicing the light, recipient of life, what he says, he get rid of that drowsiness and sleepiness. Then uddacha kukuchang pahaya anuddato viharati ajjatang upasanta chitto. When he has uddacha kukucham, the lots of thoughts running in his mind, it's not steadiness, unawareness to being in one place. What he says, the Supreme Buddha explained, he practices to calm his mind, calm his nerve on that time. In that way, I get rid of that uddacha kukucha. Vichikicha, when the doubts are about the practices is there, he purifies his mind from doubt by thinking about the wholesomeness in his life. By that, he get rid of the doubts. So one by one. So in further Dharma classes, if we are, that we can practice this kind of meditation in our life too. We will see that. So in this way, Supreme Buddha teaches. So ime pancha nivarane pahaya. So when after coming back from the arms round, sitting like that, what he does, get rid of the 5 hindrances. Which these 5 hindrances, what they do? Panyaya dubbalikarane, weakens our wisdoms, So such a thing he gets rid of first. The 5 hindrances, he gets rid of them. And what he does? Vivichehi kamehi, separating from all the sensual pleasure. Akusalehi dhammehi, from all separated from unwholesome steps. Savitakam savicharam vivekajam piti sukham pathamam jhanam upasampaja viharati. So what he does, being secluded from sensual pleasure, secluded from the unwholesome states, he enters upon and abides in the first jhana, which is accompanied by applied and sustained thought, with the rapture and pleasure born of seclusion. So what it is, all the meditations which is verbally or in the thinking we chant, like loving kindness, may I be free from anger, that is the properly sustained thoughts, applied and sustained thoughts. That is called this meditation. When you do continuous form in that way, what happened? Later on, do not need those words. Slowly, when you are chanting this way, what happened? You develop the rapture and pleasure in that moment. So that is the one thing. Then, vitakka vicharanam upasama. After further, you do not need words to chanting. Like you do not have to say, may I be free from anger. Just you're saying that I am here to practice loving kindness, automatically the thoughts of hatred is completely going down. The state automatically arrives in you. What happened? Second jhana arrives there. Then third jhana, the fourth jhana is there. So one by one, you develop in the jhanas. Then Supreme Buddha says, Ye kote brahmana bhikkhu sikha. That moment when this kind of instruction has been given, apatta manasa anuttarang yoga khemang pathayamana viharanti te sume ayang eva rupi anusasani hoti. So Supreme Buddha says that I teach him to reach into the higher training one by one. This is my instruction, Brahmin, to those bhikkhus who are in the higher training, whose mind has not yet trained and goal, which about aspiring to the supreme security from bondage. So this kind of training Supreme Buddha gives who has not attained enlightenment yet. But this training, but these things conduct both to the pleasant of its here and now, and mindfulness and full awareness of those bhikkhus who are arhants with chains destroyed. So this training is become completed for them who has already attained it, enlightenment. So this entire training is for what? To become enlightenment. And when they have attained the enlightenment, their training period has finished. The Buddha mentioned in that way. So bhikkhu sekha. So the training is for them who has not attained this stage, but who has attained it, they are completely liberated. And then Supreme Buddha expressed the what kind of way. The Katakaraniyam, who has done everything what has to be done. Ohitabhara, who has get rid of all the burden, so all the chances he has destroyed, abandoned everything, is that ime dhamme dittha dhamma sukha viharaya cheva sangvatanti, who dwells in this present moment with the beautiful, the pleasant happiness, utter happiness in that moment. Who else is there? Sati sampajaya chati, with the awareness, fully awareness of that, the knowledge of liberation, they are become aware of that. It is there. So this entire training is for what? For whom? To attain the enlightenment. Supreme Buddha teaches in that way. One by one. It does not happen in the one way. Okay, go and practice meditation. No. The training should be the gradual one. Like you cannot go and train as you are in Montessori or in the first grade. You cannot solve the problems of 10th grade, For that, you have to build up the entire map. And what we do from our childhood, slowly, we masters, one by one we progress to understand the higher calculations. Or we understand the higher compounds of when we study the biology or the chemical compounds, we understand that. Yes, everything you cannot understand it immediately. It takes the gradual training. So Supreme Buddha, once you have mastered, then they give you the title of doctor or something like that, or teacher or something. For the same thing, this understanding of Dhamma is also begin with the virtue and slowly come to that state when you are completely enlightened. And then you dwell with enlightened mind, being completely aware of your liberation, being completely happy in this particular moment. So this entire training is for that, Supreme Buddha mentioned. Then this entire process has been said. That time, this Gaṇakamoggallāna Brahman asked the Supreme Buddha, Evam Buddhe Gaṇakamoggallāno Brahmano Bhagavantang etadavocha. When the Supreme Buddha expressed that how I teach and what is the final destination of it, when he understands that this is the final destination, the liberation is that, this Brahmin asked the Supreme Buddha what he says, Kinnukho bhoto gotamasa savaka bhota gotamena evam ovadiyamana evam Anusasiyamana sabbe achantam nitting nibbana aradenti udahu ekache naradenti. Is that so, Bante? When the Supreme Buddha teaches this kind of teaching, and when the student is studying from it, what the Buddha has mentioned, and this student has been studying the same thing, is it happen that each and every pupil attain the Nibbana, or means some of them attain the Nibbana or some not? So the Supreme Buddha explained, in English it says something like that, when the master Gautama's disciple are thus advised and instructed by him, do they all attain Nibbana, the ultimate goal, or do some not attain it? Then Supreme Buddha explained, Appe kache ko brahmana mama savaka, there are some of my disciples, maya ovadiyamana evam anusasiyamana, as according to my teaching, understanding these words or training in this way, achantam nitting nibbana naradinti, some of them attain the enlightenment. Appe kache naradinti, some does not. So the Supreme Buddha explained, even I teach this everything to everyone, only some of them, or they understand the teaching and attain the enlightenment, some of not. Then he asks again, Konuko bho Gautama hetuko pachayo. And what is the reason, Supreme Buddha? What is the reason, Gautama, that when there is titteva nibbana, when there is enlightenment, tittati nibbana gamini maga, when there is a path for enlightenment, tittati bhavang Gautamo samadapeta, when there is a teacher who explains how to walk on this path, when there is a teacher, atacha pana bhota Gautamasa savaka bhota Gautamena evam ovadiyamana. And what is the reason when there is a Supreme Buddha, when there is a path, when there is enlightenment exists, when the Supreme Buddha is teaching your path? Why? What is the reason? What is the cause that some of them attain enlightenment and some are not? See, beautiful questions, he asked, and then Supreme Buddha gave him the counter question. Simply he said, that is called the counter question. It is one of the teaching method of Supreme Buddha. Okay, Tehi Brahmana Tangye Vetta Puchisami. Okay, Brahman, okay, I will give you an answer of that. But first, let me ask you one question. The counter question is that you will understand very well, Yatote kame yatvam tathana vyakarisati. If you feel suitable, then answer. If it is not, then you do not have to answer it, okay? Or whatever you feel, just let me know. Whatever suits you, you can answer. Tanking manyasi brahmano kusalotvam rajagaha gamissa maggasati. Are you comfortable? Do you know the path which leads to the rajagaha? Do you know that path? Evam vo kusalo aham rajagaha gamissa maggassa. Yes, Bante, I am completely aware. I know the entire path of rajagaha. So he said, Supreme Buddha asked, Tanking manyasi brahmana ida puriso agacheya rajagaham gantukamu. If someone, any person comes to you and who want to go to the rajagaha, and he asks you that, tell me, I want to go to the rajagaha, tell me the path. Then what you will do? Tamena tvang evam vadeyasi. Then you mention to him this path. Eham bo purisa ayam maggo rajagaham gachanti. This is the path which leads to the rajagaha. Tena muhuttam gachanti. If you go a little bit further, in that gantva dakhinasa amukam namangama, on your left side, you will find this name of the city or the village. Tena muhuttam gatva. If you go a little bit further, amukam nigama, there is in the left or this side, you will find a different city. So one by one, you will mention, okay, you will go further, you will take left, you will take right, this kind of city you will find, this kind of stream will be there, the river will be there, and When you see the signs of that, then you will know that you have reached to the Rajagriha. Then Supreme Buddha mentioned in this way, if someone asks you and you will mention this kind of things, then are there everyone who hear from you the path of Rajagriha will be there? Will they reach to this place? He said, no, Bhante. Some of them will, some of not. Then he asked, Supreme Buddha asked, and what is the reason that some of them will reach to the destination? Some of will not. Because there is a city called the Rajagriha. There is a path. This is the route which takes to the Rajagriha. And you are there to guide him. You are there to show the path. So he said, when I instruct them, if they follow the proper instruction, then they will reach to that. And if they are not following the instruction, they will not. I'm just the path. I'm just an instructor. I'm just mentioning the path. You know, he's saying, Ektakwaham bho Gotama Komi Magga Kaiham bho Gotamati. Because I cannot do anything else. I am just the path shower. I am just a guide to show him the path. It is up to him if he want to walk there or not. Evameva ko Brahmana. In the same way, Brahmana, when there is a Nibbana, when there is enlightenment, when there is a path of enlightenment, when there is a one who teaches the path, the teacher is there. When I instruct them, only some of them attained it, some of not, because I am just the one who instruct them. I am just one who show the path. That's all. So Supreme Buddha mentioned that I am the person who teaches the path. When this happens, he got the answer of him. First he asked that there is this enlightenment is there and everything is there. Why somebody is reaching there and somebody is not? And Buddha gave answer to his own question. If someone come and ask from you, are those every person will go to there? And he said, no. As long as they follow the instruction, they will reach. Who will follow the instruction, they will reach to the destination. Who is not, they cannot. Supreme Buddha mentioned the same for this Dhamma also. I am just an instructor to teach the path, not more than that. So if someone come to your life in future and they will say, come to me and I will give you the stages of enlightenment. Okay, come here and I will give you the fruit of, become a stream, enter her. What you will do? You will run behind him. Okay, give me the stages. But you will forget these words of Supreme Buddha, that Buddha only can teach the path. Who has to walk? You yourself. No one can take you to that state. You and only you has the ability. You and only you have a strength to reach that destination. You will only follow the path what has been shown. So the Supreme Buddha is kind of map. He is a map, or he is the instructor, or assistant, the Google assistant for the driving the path. So Supreme Buddha is something like that, Just when you are driving, what happens? If you take, the Google instructor asks you to take the right turn and you take left, what happened? Oh, you take the wrong turn and reroute the map. Same thing Buddha does. If someone goes in a different path, immediately Buddha goes and instruct them. Okay, you were on the wrong path. Come back. Come to the right path. That is the teaching of Supreme Buddha. And for what? Not to take you in some particular food or not to take you to particular places, but to take you completely freed from this chaos, suffering, to take you to the enlightenment. That is so the Buddha is the master of all the instructions, the best path, the best assistance for the journey is the Supreme Buddha. Then, after listening that, what he says to the Supreme Buddha, Bhante, it's a beautiful words. The greatness of Dhamma, it is mentioned in here. I'm not sure completely that I'm able to express this, but I will try. What he says, Evam Vutte Gaṇakamoggallāna Brahmana Bhagavantan Gita. This Brahman, after listening to Supreme Buddha's word, he says to Supreme Buddha, Yeme Bhogotama Puggala Asaddha Jivakatha Nasaddha Agarasmanagaryam Pabbajita Satha Maya Vino Keta Vino Uddata Unnala Chapala Mukhara Vikinna Vacha Indriyesu Agutta Dwara Bhojane Amattanyu Jagariya Ananuyutta Samanye Anapekkavanto Sikhayana Tipagarava Bahulika Sathalika Okkamane Pubbangama Paviveke Nikhita Dura Kusita Hina Virya Muttasatino Asampajana Asamahita Vibhanta Chitta Duppanya Elemuga Natehi Bhavan Gotamo Sadding Samvasati. What the Supreme Buddha explains, that person who is unable to attain the stage, what the Buddha's Dhamma is explaining for, he mentioned there completely that the person who has these qualities, that who does not have a faith in him, gone forth out of faith to the home life, into the homelessness, who are not founded, decideful, treacherous, haughty, hollow, the personally vain, rough, tough, and loose spoken, who means all the bad qualities is mentioned here. Who is not obedient, who does not understand the path, who does not understand, who do not obey the lead teacher, do not respect, the black stabbing person, all the unwholesome things, all the unwholesome qualities who have, it is mentioned here, and then Buddha explains, he says, if such a person is there, then he cannot dwell together with the Supreme Buddha. It means the person who does not have a confidence, who does not have any good qualities, who does not have what it takes to be enlightened, means the person with the unwholesomeness feeling that without giving those things, such a person, like a Devdatta kind of person, cannot dwell he cannot stay with the Supreme Buddha. There is a beautiful one sutta called the Paharada Sutta. It is mentioned there that that person cannot stay in the sea. Every dead thing has been thrown to the shore. In the same way, the person who is dead in the practice of Dhamma cannot dwell in the Sangha. Automatically, he comes out. He cannot stay in the Sangha. The Sangha throws this person out. He's also mentioning the same thing here, that the person who does not have these things cannot stay, cannot practice the Dhamma. But the person who had the quality, who go forth with the faith and becomes the bhikkhu or monk, who develops all the good qualities, who are really practicing to be developing these qualities, such a person can stay together with the Supreme Buddha. So he gives the beautiful understanding, give the simile, what he says. Seyathapi, he gave the simile like this. Bo Gotama, Yekechi Gandha Mula. All the roots, the most fragrant one is Kala-anusari. The perfume of this root is the best of all. For the Yekechi Sara Gandha, the perfume of any wood, the Lohita Chandanam Tesang Agamakkayati. So the red sandalwoods, the perfume of it is the best of all for in the woods. Yekechi Puppagandha, all the perfume from the flowers, the Vasikang Tesang Agamakkayati. So the jasmine, perfume of jasmine is the foremost, the most fragrant one. He says, Eva meva bhota gotamasa ovado paramajja dhammesu. In that same way, Master Gautama's advice is supreme among the teachings of today. See, that when he came to the Supreme Buddha, he does not have a single confidence on him. But when this entire teaching he has understand, what he says, that the Supreme Buddha's advice, his teaching, is the supreme among the teachings of today. So you will never find, even after these 2,600 years after, his teaching is a supreme in all the teachings. That is still visible, still practicable, still the path is open to all of them who want to walk on the path of enlightenment. And what happened? After that, he says, Abhikantang Bhogotama. He expressed his delight in the words, magnificent Master Gautama, magnificent Master Gautama. Master Gautama has made the Dhamma clear in many ways. He came to ask, is there a gradual teaching, gradual training, gradual progress? And he hear that, yes, there is. There is this particular path which takes you to the enlightenment. And when he heard that, he said, Bhante, I am now entirely clear that really there is the gradual training, gradual practice, gradual progress you can see in this Dhamma. There is no other Dhamma superior than Supreme Buddha. Master Gautama's Dhamma is the superior one. And Supreme Buddha has mentioned very clearly in a very different ways. I have understand this Dhamma. And he expressed his views that something like it was hidden, Supreme Buddha has opened it. And, showing the way who has lost the path, holding the lamp in the darkness. So the person who has a sight can see the forms in the darkness. In such a way, he says, and he expressed that I go to Master Gautama for refuge. He says, Esahang Bhagavantang Gautamang Saranang Gacchami Bhante. From now this moment, I am going refuge to Supreme Buddha. Dhammang cha bhikkhu sanghancha. Dhamma and the Sangha of bhikkhus. Upasakang mam bhavang Gautamu dharetu ajitake panupetang saranagatati. Let Master Gautama remember me as a lay follower who has gone to him for refuge for life. It's beautifully says, when he came to the Supreme Buddha, he was not a disciple, but when the Supreme Buddha teaches his Dhamma, he became a disciple of Buddha. That is the beauty of Supreme Buddha's Dhamma. So understand, this is clearly mentioned in the deeper way, that if we go read this sutta for a couple of times, not couple of times, many times, and then try to acquire the practice one by one. Okay, let me be practicing this form for this moment. Let me do these things. You should not think about that. It should be completely 100% in you, but get the idea of this being virtuous, being awake, being mindful of your food. All the places where you are dwelling, be mindful of all of them. Such a things try to develop, and then you will see the beauty of Dhamma in your way, that it will help you to develop the jhanas. So once you have the mindfulness and the jhana state, then you can get rid of the roots of unwholesome, the roots of all the defilements, and you can liberate yourself in that way. So you will see the beauty. So that's all the sutta. As the Gaṇakamoggallāna was when he came to the Supreme Buddha, when he was not a disciple, but he later left as a disciple, so you also come and study the Dhamma, and all the doubts regarding Dhamma, you should get rid of that associating with the Supreme Buddha's Dhamma. So we share this night. May the sutta be helpful for you to see the Supreme Buddha as a master teacher, see the Supreme Buddha as a path shower to you. May this sutta be helpful for you to attain, realize the Four Noble Truths in this Gautama Buddha dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.